You to show me how to do this, Eugene.
I will.
Okay,
All
good.
right. I think we are live or we're about to be live. Okay. Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Listen, I am so excited today because I have two amazing world-class coaches, entrepreneurs, and amazing ladies with me on the live stream. And it would not be happening if I didn't collaborate with them, not just online, but also in person. We all met in our coaching container and at the live event. And literally, like that was the theme for my channel. That was the theme for my show. That wealth is created by collaboration. And what a better example to actually show you how it is done. And today we're going to talk about messaging. Today we're going to talk about collaboration. Today we're going to talk about relationship marketing, all of the good things. And I want to introduce you to my guest, Gabby. Why don't we start with you?
Hello, my name is Gabby, and I'm owner of Bucio Media Foundations, and I help entrepreneurs and massive companies, Fortune 100, Fortune 10, Fortune 1 companies, build their brand and build brand authority through public relations and communication strategies.
Oh my gosh.
Nice to
Like,
meet everybody. Thank you for having me here. Love you so much.
Okay, look here. I just got to cut in here real quick. Now, she's very modest, but she comes from a super credible career. And Gabby, can you just talk a little bit about one of the clients that you're managing this week in Chicago?
Sure. Well, my two major clients right now are NASCAR and Carnival Cruise Lines. And that was a huge win for me when I went off on my own. You're right. They're amazing clients and I love what I do. But I also love working with my fellow entrepreneurs because it's a new area for me. And what I found in contrast to corporate clients is that their passion and purpose is so fulfilling and so inspiring and just gets me excited to be able to help them spread their message as well. So I really love working with both, but love you and thank you. And also you both and your expertise and background and our journeys that we're on. I think that's why we really connected, because we really come from that corporate world and we have that experience and we're trying to, build a business with a life by design, as our friend Eugene says,
yes.
which I love. And I am like so on top of that in everything I do right now. But, I think we're on a similar journey and that's why we came together. So
Yes.
love it.
Like I want to also quickly interject and when you were talking about entrepreneurs and how they passionate about everything,
Mhm.
what really resonated with me that a lot of corporations, they do their marketing, they do their branding as a means to an end. Like
Right.
it's just another thing. For
Yeah.
me, like I don't know, Jody took those pictures. It was not just another thing. Like, oh my gosh, this is actually exciting. I'm actually evolving from I don't know if I can curse like F the branding
You
photo
can curse.
era to like, oh my gosh, like yes, I fucking love it. So here we go.
Totally.
We said the F word on LinkedIn.
It's
Okay,
okay.
Marilyn.
Are we gonna get canceled? I don't think LinkedIn will cancel us, will
Oh,
they?
they'll beep
No,
it out. They'll beep it out.
no, like it's like with YouTube and many social media platform, as long as you don't cuss within first minute, you're
Yeah.
gonna be okay.
Okay.
So,
Good to
and
know.
as I also, like I also know creators who just like F F F C F
All
F
the
C
time.
F C
Gary
C
V.
C F
Sure.
Gary
F F
V.
C. Like LinkedIn, okay, and like she's like, whatever. We like we
Balance.
digress. Marilyn, back at you.
Marilyn.
Hey, everybody. I'm Marilyn Dollar. Lately, people have been calling me the $1 million
I
coach.
was just
I
Marilyn
don't know what
Dollar. I was just I can't believe we've never talked about that before.
we were on a call yesterday with Eugene and I, and Digit said, "Hey,
Digit.
let me say something about that $1 million coach girl." Like, wait, was that me?
I think there is a brand right there. I
Hey,
love
you know
that.
what? Look, Gabby, speaking of branding, I also have to say one of the things that I love about you so much is that you bring this big picture corporate thinking to an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
It is so game changing.
Yeah.
I love that is one of my favorite
Thank
things that you
you.
do. Yeah, for sure. And so I was also in corporate. I've worked at probably some brands that you've heard of, and I've been through some buyouts. So I worked at Quaker when they were a little mom and pop company. I mean, still big oatmeal company. And then we were bought by Pepsi.
Yeah.
Then I worked for Gatorade, and that's a whole induction. And then I stayed home with my kids for a decade. And I raised my kids and I did MLM stuff. I taught paper crafting to moms and I loved it. It was great. And then I went back to work, got a divorce, and worked at Wrigley Chewing Gum, which is an institute in Chicago. And I loved it. Most amazing job ever. And then we were bought by Mars, completely changed the culture. And I was there almost 14 years and absolutely living my best life every day. I loved the people that I worked with. And that was when I started coaching. And I actually, after I got a divorce, hired a dating coach. Did you even know there was such a thing? A dating
I
coach?
heard about that recently, actually.
I was,
So
I didn't,
interesting.
I mean, it's like all the, I didn't know how to, that was, so she taught me how to date. And now I am
Wow.
happily remarried. And my husband is so amazing. He's just so amazing. I can't wait for you guys to meet him. And now I have been coaching. I got certified in 2017 and I've been coaching ever since. And I have the most amazing clients.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing the most amazing transformations. And every single day, love what I do. Super passionate about lifting executives up. And then how can we lead from the top down and the bottom up so that
Mhm.
everybody's happy? There is a way to do it. I just
Mhm.
think not enough people take the time to hit the reset button and learn some of the soft skills of leadership. I think we've all kind of felt that at
Totally.
some point in our career. And I think life is too short to have a shitty boss,
Mhm,
It is.
right? It's too
mhm.
short. I mean, Eugene, look at what you just went through.
Yeah.
My goodness. Listen, it's I was literally that reel that I created. So like that reel I created like right after I said I quit. And here's the thing. Like uh, we're gonna talk about messaging here in a second,
Yeah.
but it's also important to have faith in your business because I've been in my business full time for a year, and there's still like this program in me that like I have to have a paycheck because like every month a little bit of money is better than large lump sum of money like over like long period of time, so like
Yeah.
however, right?
Yeah.
And I thought like, okay, corporate used to be easy because like I don't have this, like I was burned out in corporate. It was really really easy for me. Like, well, like corporate is really easy. I just have to show up and show up at my 20% because I'm type A plus 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 individual. So my 20%, it is like 80% for everybody else, for average like corporate worker. So, but this time around, because it was out of faith, out of alignment, and God literally in the spirit told me, like, go ahead and take this job. And like, I don't understand. Like, you say the business, you say the job, like, what do I actually do? And after that, I realized that it was out of alignment, out of my desire, and it ended up badly because like they
Fear. It was
refused.
out of fear.
It was out of
Mm.
fear, and they
Wow.
refused to pay me my like what, like those 2 days for like when we went to North Carolina, like I worked
Right,
those
right,
2 days, and they
Right.
said like we're not paying you because like you don't have like deliverables. So like, well, like managing the team, leading the team, unblocking the
Right.
team, it is a deliverable. Like
Right.
like you can't write code if there's nothing to write. If there's
right.
like if you just can't like, what do you mean? Like, well, like this is what like the whole thing. And it's just reminder for really for all of us, like to have faith, because every time, like every morning I spend in prayer and meditation, and I'm in the book of Matthews this week, and literally like for the entire week, this is the messaging that I'm getting. I got the messaging from gosh, Jackie, right? She said have faith.
Love
From
Jackie.
Melissa, she said have faith. And you know, like the whole week, like have faith, 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 faith. So that was my that was my story. And it felt good. And living my life by design, like literally, I had such a busy week planned
Mhm.
for this week, and today I realized I ain't got it. I ain't got it, and like we're
Okay.
gonna use life. We're gonna go live, and I'm gonna go to the beach. Actually, write my ideas and business plan because I can't stand my office right now, and this is the
Creative
life by
juices.
design. Yes, this
Mm-hmm.
is
Love
this is
it.
the life by design because
Mhm.
like uh 3 hours later I will be totally okay and I'm gonna
Love it.
create something really awesome.
Mhm.
Can I say one thing as we jump in, and one area where I think the three of us really connected, because there's so many corporate stories and there's so many client stories and there's so many ups and downs, and but I think the one thing that was really validated, and Marilyn, you and I had a little more time to like dig into this, but we also did with Eugene, that there's this gut feeling,
Mhm.
that you're on the right path or that you're on the wrong path. And you might not know what the right path is, and have clarity into that, but there's this gut feeling that you're not headed the right way or that you're not in the right place. And what I love about meeting you guys and other entrepreneurs who I've connected with, and by the way, it's a whole new world for me. I don't know if you guys have ever had your own business, but this is new for me, and a new yellow brick road that I am walking on, and connecting with other entrepreneurs, but especially with you guys. We were all like following that, having that faith,
Yes.
but
Yes.
not really knowing where we were going. But then you meet people who look like you guys, right? That we just, in a few days, hours even, we lifted each other up, we validated each other, we, realized that we have similar fears despite being, you know, professionals with,
Mhm.
very solid sets of expertise and
Mhm.
background, and we could go and get a job tomorrow if we wanted to.
Yep.
But we're
Yes.
like, we all have these same things that we're going through, and insecurities and vulnerabilities, but we all have these strengths and this desire to live this, but like the faith, right? And that camaraderie in that is one of the things that left my heart full and my cup full from our time together, because I think that's just something that we share, that we're on that same path. And as we're building that and constructing that, nothing more magical than having friends to support.
Yes, absolutely. So let's talk about messaging because, like, we
Yeah.
can talk about like, gosh, I wish I had all day. Seriously, I can
We
do it
should, we
all
should do
day.
we should just do a podcast with the three of us.
Yes. So Gabby, what do you think about how do you define messaging? Because there are a lot of coaches out there, and I think I'm so glad that you and I intersect on this bridge with in messaging and
Yeah.
in corporate. I don't work, or like let me put it this way, I don't have the experience taking corporate clients
Yeah.
yet through the messaging, but the experience like or like the fundamentals are fairly the same.
Yeah.
So how would you define the messaging and what is important in messaging?
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, I think it's really important to understand that messaging is really going to depend on what you're trying to accomplish in that moment in time. Whether you're an AT&T, whether you're a NASCAR Carnival Cruise Line, or whether you're Eugene or Marilyn Dollar, Million Dollar Coach, um, ultimately, what are you trying to accomplish? And using the channels that you have available to you to convey that in a very clear and concise way.
Mhm.
I'll give you guys an example. I am really into this book Worthy that I told you both about by Jamie Lima Kern. Do you have it right there?
You know, I do, girl.
Yep. Have you started
Oh,
it?
Okay, no, I have
Book
a
club.
deep bookshelf. Okay.
Me too. And all the books right next to my bed are all the ones that I need to read, and there's at least 30. But this book has really been fundamentally pivotal for me. And I've, gifted it to so many folks. And really, I won't go into that. That's for a different moment. But I want to tell you guys a brief story about that, and I'll bridge back to best messaging. That I got that book from another mastermind that I'm in, and I didn't even know
Same.
who sent it to me. I was like, oh, I got this book, so sweet. I don't know who sent it to me. There's no note, put it next to my bed. And one morning I was listening to an interview, and Jamie was being interviewed, and she was talking about her journey in entrepreneurship. She sold her business to It Cosmetic, or to L'Oreal,
Yep.
for billions of dollars.
2.3 billion, and she was the first female CEO they'd ever had.
Yes. And I mean, amazing journey to get to that point. I mean, just she tells her story. She tells the
Incredible.
story of all of the failures and all of, but I had that night before been thinking about my own journey, and I was just really like at a crossroads, and I'm listening to this podcast. I'm making my bed, and I sit in the chair next to my bed and I start crying. I mean, whatever it is she was saying in that moment, it was just a message that I needed so strongly and so firmly. But then I sat next to my bed and I'm like, gosh, her name sounds familiar. And I literally look at my bedside and her book is right there, right? Anyway, so serendipitous, full circle. But I listened to her interview. I listened to a lot of her interviews. I read her book, and then they invited her to my mastermind. Every interview she had the same messaging pillars that she was trying to convey.
Yep.
Her brand is so clear and simple, right? For her book. Is it a company that you're trying to, position? Is it a book? Is it a program? Is it a mastermind? Is it a coaching offer? Whatever it is in that moment in time, you need to be really clear about what you're trying to accomplish, and then you break it down in pillars, in what we call incorporate key messages, key narratives, 3 to 5 that you repeat, repeat, repeat. I was so excited about seeing her at my live event. I was like, I had to catch a flight. I was late to my flight. I was like, when I saw her live, it was not as amazing as it could have been, because she was repeating the same shit that I've been hearing her say in all the podcasts and all her book. And I'm like, these are her key messages. She had the same stories that she was telling on repeat. She had the same messages. No diss to Jamie. This is the PR strategy, right? You want it to be so clear that you're like, this is the message, and I have the story behind this message, an anecdote to make it personable, to connect with people, to make people resonate with what I'm trying to convey. And so story, anecdote, story, anecdote, story, anecdote, pillar, 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 and that's what you convey, right? And so sometimes we try to say too much, right? Sometimes we're too like in it to really, see through what that message is and what we're trying to convey. And
Yep.
that's where people can help you define that, right? Professionals can help you define that. Eugene, you and I talked about there is messaging for PR, there's messaging for social, there's messaging for LinkedIn, there's messaging for TikTok. But at the end of the day, the messaging pillars, how they're delivered, how short or long it is, how many characters you use, that's all tactical, right? But the
right.
messaging pillars must be the same through all channels.
Yes, yes. And uh, one example that I think might resonate with you all too, like for example, my messaging pillars, no content pillars, content seasons. Like this is
Did you hear me say pillars? And I'm like, she's gonna be like, seasons.
yeah, content
Content
seasons
seasons.
versus content pillars, and um social selling mastery, which is your sales really starts from the moment people start consuming your content. Like this is so many people think, oh, like I hate sales, like, but your sales call has already started, like in
Mm-hmm.
your content.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like when people when people are reaching out to you or not reaching out to you, this is the signal, right? Like what objection you should handle objections before they arrive, right? And
Right.
this is like my two pillars that like I'm gonna go and I'm gonna talk about like everywhere that social media is actually easy. Fuck the algorithm, fuck the content pillars, and we're
I've
gonna
seen
do
that in
content
your
seasons
messaging.
in
Yep.
collaboration. Because like
Yep.
this is like LinkedIn will change tomorrow or might change tomorrow. Like Instagram changes every 10 minutes. But if we have this foundations in people who like, know, and trust us, like,
Mhm.
listen, like they if we're gonna leave the platform, they will leave the platform with us. And you only need to have like 1,000 people to make $1 million who are really right or die. It's a process, it's work, but it is possible. Uh, Marilyn, tell
And
us about,
let me say
yeah,
one thing real quick before we feed into
sure.
Maryland, because Maryland's gonna splash us and blow up the house. Blow up the house. I'll say one thing for people to consider about this, just real quick. In corporate, we have our ideal client, right? In the entrepreneur world right now, our masterminds talk a lot about the client avatar, right?
Hmm.
And what you just said, Eugene, about your key messages and who you're trying to reach. I think that's a really important piece here because there are some times, and I love Marilyn. Marilyn, when I heard you speak, I was just like, she has got her spiel like on fire because who like it's not only the messaging, who are you trying to reach?
Right on.
Right?
Yes.
Yep.
Like, and so it's too much to cover in one sesh, but I wanted to really make that clear because to your point, Eugene, no matter what platform you're on, no matter if you're in a room, no matter where you are, when you've positioned who you're trying to reach and then have that messaging really clear for that audience, people come look at the three of us. After
Yes.
introductions, the three of us just went, oh my God, you know what I mean? Because it's just like that people speak to you, right?
Yep.
And so knowing who that client is, knowing who your customer avatar is, knowing who you're trying to reach, and then having that clear message of what your offer is, or whatever the message you're trying to convey is, that's like in the formula, right? So Marilyn, now Eugene, sorry,
Yes.
introduce our
Yep.
special guest.
Our
I'm
special
not,
guest, Marilyn.
I am exactly the same
You're
as
so
you guys.
special.
Come on.
Exactly. That's why you're so special.
Although, hey, I got to call out Digit Murphy. She's joined the call. Digit,
Yes,
you
she
missed
did.
us at the top of the hour. We were calling you out, girl.
She did.
That's funny.
Love you guys so much.
Yes, same, same. Listen, I totally love what you said about the messaging seasons because like I said, I think life's too short to have a shitty boss or work a shitty job. Do something you love. And how do you make that pivot? Right? Yes, I coach leaders because I believe it only takes one person to shift from your fuel tank of being empty to your fuel tank of being full. And a leader who has a full fuel tank shows up differently,
100%.
treats their
Mhm.
people differently.
100%.
And when you feel valued and freedom to do your best work, you don't really need much more than that. But what I've discovered in this season of my coaching, most of my leaders are having the same problem. They can't ignite their team to get shit done. I don't know if it's the summer. I don't know if it's 2024. I don't know if it's the transition back into the office. I can't tell you what the cause is,
Yeah.
but I can tell you it's curable.
Yeah.
And so in the season that I'm in right now, I just created this VFO and I'm going to start talking live about it the next 3 weeks. I'm going to do a lunch and learn where we talk about how do you inspire your team? How do you delegate to them and then let them go and do it? Let
Yeah.
them be their best selves. Give them the space to rise up,
Yes. Yes.
right? You don't need to micromanage.
Yes.
Why
Yeah.
is
So,
it, Marilyn, that when a team is not producing,
Yeah.
often we blame the team, right? As a leader, you're
Yeah.
like, my team isn't producing. Well, let's put accountability where accountability belongs. But
Yes.
why is it that when a team is not producing, the leader immediately goes to micromanaging versus,
I'll tell you why. And that's a great question, Gabby. Think about yourself as a leader, right? You came up the ranks, both of you, as subject matter experts, right?
Mhm.
Eugene, you could write code all day long. You're a badass when it comes to that. And switching from writing code to leading a team requires totally different skill sets, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Most of us as leaders, I would say 80% of leaders came up as subject matter experts. And then once you get to the CEO level or the COO level or some executive level, they don't hand you a piece of paper that says, okay, here's the soft skills to being a leader now. You have to figure that out. And you're
Totally.
so confident in your skills as a subject matter expert that you go in and you just do it, right? I can't tell you how many leaders I've talked to and have said, I'm paying these people a salary and yet I'm still the smartest person in the room. Whose fault is that?
Right.
Leader,
Right.
hire smarter people. If you are the one who's doing the work on the weekend because your people either don't want to do it, aren't capable of doing
Right.
it, you don't show up and do it. You give them the space to rise up, and maybe you don't shorten your timeline, you lengthen your timeline. And maybe you read the book The One Thing to figure out what's the most important thing, because everything on my to-do list is not that important.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. You know,
Love it.
I was
Powerful.
I'm working with in my career coaching program because this is my very first offer, right? And this is like Marilyn, this that it resonates with me so much because people often come to me and especially it happens after they were promoted to like a team lead or maybe a manager, not quite a
100%.
CEO, CFO positions,
It doesn't
but
matter what the role is. It's going from SME to
yeah,
from an individual contributor to a people leader.
yeah. And they like, um, what do I do? And my question to them, why did you promote you? Like, because this is not a promotion, this is a career change.
That's right.
This is a career change. And they're like, well, like I
Yep.
code really well. I deliver really good, high quality products. So they would think that I will inspire others like to do the same thing. Like, well, like, are you good at inspiring others? Like, because one thing is to write code yourself, because guess what? I've seen so many software engineers who were brilliant at what they do. They could never move up in their career to senior leadership because they made themselves irreplaceable. They were so good at what they did, and especially in tech, they thought that soft skills are not necessarily. It's all about technical skills. It's all about being the smartest. It's all about being the one guy, the hero of the day. But
Mhm.
like the reality is, and this is what I help some of my clients in, and I don't even like it's not even from an offer, right? But like this is also like something that I'm going as a CEO of my company. Manage yourself first and manage your emotions, and you hit a nail on the head with that. And also learn trust, because listen, one thing that I learned from like a month and a half of absolutely terrible toxic contract that did not serve me nor my business is that micromanagement can is a productivity killer, because like somebody called me like, Eugene, why you were available on the phone, so you have to talk to Melvin like 5 times a day. I'm like, 5 times a day? Are you fucking kidding me? What are we going to talk? Like my husband and I don't even talk 5 times a day sometimes. Like what am I going to talk about? Like I think it's inappropriate. Listen, at this point.
Mhm.
And like I'm saying that to say because I was Melvin when I had my virtual assistant I just started my business. I knew nothing how to be a leader. Like Marilyn, I'm probably gonna end up hiring you at some point, as my business grows because I need that coaching. Uh, I was that Marilyn who would call my virtual assistant 5 times a day, like, "Hey, did you check that post?" And we were only doing Instagram. Did you check that post? Did you do this? Did you do that? Why didn't you do this? Like, why my following like numbers are not going up? And then my virtual assistant said, "Look, man, I know you for a long time. You train me to do everything. You train me like even before like business, like how I work. Uh, you did not you have to own that your Instagram following sucks and your strategy sucks. You have to own it. If
Mm,
you don't know the strategy, you have to invest in it. If you
mhm.
know the strategy, then you do shitty job at explaining to me how to implement that strategy.
Wow,
You
good
have
for
to own
them.
your shit.
Yeah, good for your VA, man. I like it.
Yeah.
Give
So
me their
and the,
number. I need somebody to hold me accountable like that. Be like, listen, girl.
Uh-huh.
I will. You probably yeah, I will.
Maybe. May add her to
I didn't want
them.
to spill the beans. Listen, like this is a little bit TMI, might be, but like, hey, yeah, like that's exactly what I 100% agree with what Marilyn said. This is me being a leader and also like managing Man, listen, just managing myself today, that was a lot of it, like the hell of a job because also like our families, because like my husband sometimes say, "Hey, you need to process that shit before you come to me because this is not good."
Right.
Yeah.
And
So,
you know what? It's funny you would say that, Eugene. You need to process that shit before you come to me. This is one of the things that I do in my coaching. Because when you get into a leadership position, whether you're the CEO of your entrepreneurial business or the CEO of a multi-million dollar company, who do you process this shit with? No one. There's no one to process with. And that's probably the
Right.
number one piece of feedback that I get
Yeah, that's so
is,
true.
you know what? You've become my trusted advisor. I don't know how I would do business without you now because you're my go-to. There's no one else that I can talk to this about,
Yeah.
right?
yes.
Yeah. And you know what, too? I think as you were saying, Eugene, about your VA. I was remembering during COVID, I had a boss who would make us sit on a conference call, like an open conference call all day long. By the way, we were working like 15, 16-hour days. Yeah. So she could dial in at any minute to
Stop it.
check in.
Stop it.
100%. Like six people are sitting. I mean, I'm going to the bathroom. I'm like, okay. But I say that to say
What?
there was a time when, let me rephrase. I am a very autonomous person. Like, if I am committing to something, I'm going to get it done because I have an interest in getting it done and getting it done right. I don't need people, telling me what to do the whole step of the way, right? But it gets to a point where, as a leader, and I think about her and I'm like, she probably didn't even think she was doing anything wrong, Marilyn, but like
She
it
was
got
just trying to gain control.
it was a
Hmm.
She
control
didn't
thing,
know.
but it got to a point for me for the first time in my career where I wouldn't make a decision because I knew that she was just so over, that I was managing an entire team, the entire AT&T corporate website during COVID. The COVID page was
Lord.
on our site. It got to the point where I would just be like, let me plug in. What do you want to do? Because no matter what I say, you're just in everyone's business. This was the whole team. I had a high performing team. Everybody just shut down. Everybody would be like, what do you want us to do? What do you want? And
Hmm.
it's like you have this talented team
Mm-hmm.
that could guide, that could provide input, that could, and you have no experience in this area,
Yeah.
but you're trying to micromanage everyone into such a fear and control state that
Yep.
then nobody is doing, anything. And I don't know, Marilyn, that she even tried to get that, tried to discuss, like,
Right.
So I wonder for you and for listeners down the line, when you're in that middle management position, like I was, right? Or like Eugene is a little more self-aware probably than this leader was here, but like what could I have done in that position where I can't tell her, hey girl, you need to go talk to the $1 million coach because your leadership is subpar. Right? Like, how can you, in a middle management position where I was responsible for so many people and I felt like I, really was trying to take care of my team, but
Yeah.
we're all kind of sandwiched in between this, like, you know,
Toxic boundary-less boss. Yeah.
like what could someone do in a situation like that?
Yeah, it's a great question, Gabby. As you look at evolution of leaders, right? So Eugene is going through an evolution right now of his own leadership style, of what he is going to tolerate and what he's not going to tolerate. So part of it is the leader self-aware? If the leader is self-aware, can you have a conversation? Can you say, hey, I appreciate we've got some deadlines. Help me identify the one important thing.
Yeah.
What's the one thing we could deliver that you would be over the moon about? And you know
I love
what?
that.
I am such a passionate, high performer, over deliverer. I want to do this for you, for us, for the company. Let me manage this. Can you trust me for the next month to go off and do this?
I love
We
that.
can do some weekly check-ins. I'll give you whatever data you want to know, but let me go off and do this so I have the headspace, the freedom, and the ownership to really over deliver on this. And I don't want to take up your time because I know you're managing bigger projects.
Yeah.
So go and do your strategy.
Feed the
I'm gonna
ego a little bit, right?
100%. It's the leader, right? You want to have
Right.
respect for sure.
Right.
But going in, I think a lot of it too, and I don't know if either of you have felt this, but when you have a micromanager like that, it's a blow to your confidence,
Oh yeah.
Oh,
right?
100%. That's
Right?
why I was saying that we started
You
to
start to
not
second
even
guess yourself.
feel, yeah. I mean, we'd
Yeah,
be like, let's not make it, let's ask her what you,
Hmm.
100%.
right. And so a leader will put themselves in that position because they think that's leadership, but they just know they're a subject matter expert and everyone's coming to them. That's what they're
Hmm.
used to.
Yes.
If people will say, I have a CEO that I work with, and he goes, I have an open door policy. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. How many people come through the door?
Right.
100%. Yes.
Yeah.
Zero. Nobody. Yes.
Right? It's all in how you position it and how you structure yourself. And as a middle manager, show up confident. Show up
Right.
confident in your skill. Because if
Right.
you're confident in your skill, your leader is going to be confident in your skill. And you're
Right.
selling up all the time. Just like as entrepreneurs, we're selling what we do. In a corporation, you're selling what you do.
Right.
And
Hmm.
so know what your
100%.
branding is, right? What do people say about you when you're not in the room?
Love it.
Bring your best game when you show up and leave them wanting a little bit more. Wow. I saw Gabby work on this project for NASCAR. She was amazing. What else could we have her work on?
Right.
This
Yeah.
is so awesome.
So
And
good.
this is like I planned totally different live stream in my head, and I'm so glad that we didn't go that route because this is the collaboration with the right messaging. Because um listen, when entrepreneurs are getting to that season of greatness, we see like we all elevate each other. Like is my one of my offers like kind of correlates with Marilyn's? Absolutely 100%. I'm celebrating her and I say, hey, like I should probably work with you. Gabby and I, we also intersect in some of the areas as well. We lift each other up because great entrepreneurs, they collaborate, they do not compete because at the end of the day, there's nothing unique I'm selling. There's nothing unique Gabby is selling. There's nothing unique Marilyn is selling. It's how we deliver our transformation because I am just only, it's just me. I'm the only Eugene person that is there. Marilyn is only like million coach that ever existed, truly, really. And Gabby is the only Gabby that ever existed, too. So,
Yeah.
like, yes, I mean, from the business standpoint, of course, I need to look at the coaches in my niche, in my industry, how they're doing, like, use the stats, but also just like a very prime example, right? I was choosing between two coaches that like one of the coaches is actually more well established, well more experienced and making more money, and I did not go with her because she was not relatable to me. I
Mm,
Right.
mean, like
it's the number one Selton.
yes, like I
Mhm.
know that I know she can probably like and like her team is bigger, like and maybe she could do it better, not relatable to me.
Mhm.
And I went with another coach. And this is so important to understand. Instead of like beat each other up or like fighting at the bottom, like how about we elevate each other, right? And
100%.
elevate the messaging and elevate each
Absolutely.
other. Guys, how do we how everybody can connect with you and where they can find you if they want to work with you? Because you all are so awesome and I want my community to have access to you as well.
Yeah, go,
So
Gabby.
go,
I will
Gabby.
go so that you can wrap it up for us, Marilyn. I am on LinkedIn, Gabriela Bucio Anderson, Anderson with a double S, Gabriela with one L, just to confuse everybody. Bucio Media Solutions. Send me a message. Let me know if you guys have any questions. One thing that we talk a lot about in this trio and this Tres Amigos group is really wanting to share our expertise and really help lift people up. So yeah, reach out. What about you, Marilyn?
Love it. Yeah, Marilyn Dollar, dollar like the money on LinkedIn. Just send me a DM. I'm going to be doing a lunch and learn on exactly what I talked about today for the next 3 Tuesdays. So every Tuesday in July at
Love it.
noon. And we're going to talk about how to get your team to get shit done.
Okay.
I love it.
Eugene?
Nice.
We need to
And
share that with our networks. Please let us know when you post the invite, Marilyn, so we can
Yeah,
share it
Eugene's
far
going to
wide.
help me with that technical.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And you know where to find me. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram. On Instagram, like when you send a message, like tell me where you're sending me a message. Please don't ask me where I am from or where do I live or how my day is going. Just like because on LinkedIn I can see you, right? Like I know what you're about on LinkedIn if it is just a profile of a flower and you have nothing else. Like, I don't know who you are. But anyway, I digress. Send me a DM. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. I have a podcast. So if you would like to, like, if you hop on this live stream, like, dang it, I missed it. And no, I don't have time to watch it. It will be available on my podcast, I think a little bit later today or tomorrow. So you can have an audio version, you can have a video version. The only version that you're not gonna get is a probably written version because I forgot to turn on my scribe, my AI
Transcript.
scribe. So
It's okay.
all right, do we have a few minutes to answer questions?
Yeah, I'm good,
Sure,
Marilyn.
100%. Yeah,
All
I
right,
see
like
Digit
drop your
has
questions.
Digit
Yeah,
has
go ahead.
started a hashtag in the chat.
$1 million Maryland, yes.
You are hilarious, Digit. Thank you.
Like I see a lot of I see a lot of comments. So I like Digit, thank you so much for your
Digit has started a
participation.
hashtag in the
And
chat.
I think there's a little bit of an echo. Like I think somebody is trying to
Gabby,
like
you want
Yeah.
to turn your phone down?
well, not like if you mute the live stream, right? Like it won't produce the echo. So I am on two live streams, like
Same.
on
Good.
YouTube and on LinkedIn, and I just muted the audio. All right, like Digit, like Hosanna, hello Hosanna, great conversation, great to have you, Tanya. Like wow, Bounce was crossing boundaries. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I had the same boss like probably a few jobs back. We had a policy where you can work remotely before COVID, but you have to be with your camera on all the time. And to the point where people were caught, like it was not. anything like, like spicy, but like people were caught in a very awkward positions because like, listen, like I fart sometimes, okay? If it is my camera and my sound on 100%, like you're gonna hear that. So, um, so yeah, Digit, appreciate you. Like your leadership is essential, and yes, absolutely 100%. Question from Digit: how can we make the world a better place through leadership? Marilyn, I think it's a question for you.
I mean, it's a question for all of us, really. Whether you're a CEO, an entrepreneur, leading your best life, lead your best life, be the leader of your life. I think the more great leaders, and I coach so many amazing leaders, and I've seen the transformation not only in them and their life at work and outside of work, but I hear the feedback when I go into the office. So I also facilitate disc training and strength finders, and we'll do lunch and learn, and I'll hang out a little bit afterwards, and they'll come up to me and they'll say, wow, we've really seen a change in our leader since you've been coaching her, and thank you so much, this was so great. It starts with you showing up as your best self, and then confidently going to your leader and asking for what you need, and then proving to them they can trust you to deliver on it. And the other thing that I would say, it's such a great question, Digit. Can you, when you're working with a leader, here's what I hear. I have people come in my office all the time and just dump their problems on my desk. Instead of doing that, can you come in with your problem and two or three solutions you think would work, and then riff on that, right? Your leader isn't like your parent. It's like you're in a jazz band. You each have your part to play, and you're trying to make it melodic and fun and exciting, and you're trying to deliver something to your audience. How do you do that in a way that you're simpatico and you're working together and you're not doing this, right?
Mhm.
Leaders want you to rise up, to bring your best self. There's also succession planning, right? What is your plan for your own career? Do you want to be in this leadership position yourself? Do you want to learn from this leader? So I hope that answers your question, Digit.
And Tanya asked also, Marilyn, a question for you. Do you see
Oh,
the
hey,
question?
Tanya. Good to see you. What do they say specific changes? Here, that's such a great question, Tanya. One of the most specific changes that I hear time and time again is I feel like I can go and talk to my leader now. Like she's approachable. Like
Mhm.
I don't feel like I'm going to walk in there and get my head bitten off or I'm going to get in trouble. I can actually go in there and be my true self and know that she's going to listen and that she's going to have my back and that she's going to help me work through it. But I also don't feel like I'm going into the principal's office, right? I'm starting to feel more like, hey, we're going to have a conversation. And she actually knows a few things I don't. But also, she's starting to trust me as the subject matter expert in my area of the company. And so
Mhm.
now I can say, hey, I went to this conference, I learned this thing. This is so exciting. Also, remember when you become a leader, you're no longer going to these subject matter expertise things. And
Mhm.
training is happening, right? Code is changing, right, Eugene? New
Yes,
things are
100%.
happening. You don't have to keep your pulse on the newest and latest Ruby on Rails update. Trust your team to do that. Trust your team to deliver the product, and you be the inspiration and the connective tissue between the team members to drive a bigger result, right? We can only do so much as one person. It's delivering something huge with a big team that makes a bigger impact. So you have to keep that in mind.
Yes, I love that. And I think for entrepreneurs, I think where leadership shows up for us, yes, 100% what you said, like be more approachable, be more be yourself, but also leadership is making a decision that you may not 100% comfortable with yet. You know it's the right decision, but
Totally.
it's a step up. One of my decisions that like and what the way that I learned leadership in my life is when I got and I told that story many times. I got my first client. She paid me 24.84, and I had to move to Seattle literally 2 days after, and I don't have my corporate job. And at my corporate job, I was making almost 200K. So I rented a new house with that number in mind, right? Like I did not rent, like a closet, in Seattle because like this is like based on my prognosis, this is all I could afford. So I moved and I invested in my skill set again because I knew that like this is my alignment. And if I don't have the skills, I will never get traction in my business. I will never get more clients because if I keep doing the same thing and expecting different results, if my
That's
business is
crazy.
not profitable, like it won't be profitable. And I understand people can be in different positions financially. 100% get it. And my sympathy and my prayers are with y'all. But sometimes we just have to figure it out. I had to
Right.
figure it out. $20,000, and like a majority of that number that I spent last year was doing me and just me flying on my by myself on my own in my business, solo provider, solo breadwinner in my family. Think
Mm-hmm.
about that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I can talk about that forever. Gabby, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I love that. That made me think too, Eugene. One of the best bosses I've ever had, and under who I did some of the best work I've ever done, and so did my team, was a boss who was of the philosophy of fail fast, learn fast, keep moving, right? And he would
100%.
Mhm.
say to me, because in our groups, we would do new things very often, right? So like you have a foundation of knowledge, but then it's a whole different niche, maybe a different platform, maybe some technical things that you need to learn that you haven't dealt with before. And he's like, look, like I trust that you're a problem solver. I trust that you're going to think things through, use your resources, fail fast, learn fast. If you need me to step in, let me know. If you want to bounce something off of me, let me know.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I'm trusting you and the team to do what you think is best. And if it doesn't work, then we try something else. And
Love
I
it.
have to say, that was, I mean, I have applied that in so many aspects of my life because the ability to be able to say the real and you guys know, the more executives we meet, the more we realize no one really knows what the fuck they're doing.
Mm,
We're
yeah.
all just doing the best we can, right? And we can have an amazing set of experience and expertise and background and connections, but every day we're confronted with things that we haven't dealt with before. As an
Sure.
entrepreneur, as an executive, and I want to say it in Spanish because I'm all fired up. Sí or no? And that always means like
You
sí.
know,
Always like yes or no. Sí. Everybody, right? And so when you have the mentality as a leader, as a performer, as a member of a team, when you have them and you can have that conversation, right? Because then after that, with my clients, I would say, hey, like, what is the temperature here for let's try some new things? And if we're going to try new things and if we're going to try new strategies and if we're going to play with new channels, we need to know that we can make mistakes, right? Not
100%.
unintent,
Mhm.
not mistakes where we don't care what we're doing and we're throwing, no, intentional, like we're trying new things. We're using the best information and resources and team resources that we have available to us, and we're going to try something new, right? And I think in entrepreneurship, that's it too, Eugene. I mean, exactly what you said, right? Like you're going into a new area, and so it's like, I have to know. And I think for me too, and I got this from the book Worthy too, she says, I might butcher this a little bit, but she says, when something doesn't work in your favor, it's working for you.
That's right.
Mhm.
If something does not work, it's working for you. It is not meant for you. It is not the path that you're meant to go down. And so you recalibrate, and you're like, oh, like I need to shift directions a little bit here, right? But not looking at failure as a beat yourself up. Oh my, I should have known. Do you know how long I did that? Do you know how many gray hairs I got from that? Like,
Woo!
from just beating myself up for something that I could have never anticipated, could have never known, right? And so just giving yourself that grace, really being honest with your leadership, with your clients, and saying, hey, things change every day on Instagram, things change every day on LinkedIn. I know my shit. I'm the person you want to hire because I get shit done. But we're going to
Yes.
try some new things here. And we have to have an environment and a culture of, if we're going to try new things, it's not always going to work. And that's okay, because then eventually, even what you just said right now, Marilyn, this is an exact example of how you shift your strategy. You're like, I am getting these questions from my people.
Yep.
That is telling me that there is this niche
Yep.
that I can go into and offer value. And I learned that is like recourse, redirect, like fail fast, learn, input, right? And so I think that for me has been life-changing in my entrepreneur journey, but also as a wife, as a mother, as a friend, I mean, sometimes I'm just like, sorry, y'all, I messed up. I've fallen on my sword. Like, let's just move on versus like living with that burden, I think we can all take from that in everything we do.
Love
Yes.
it.
Well, thank you so much all for being here. I can literally chat with you forever. Like, we should do it again. So we're gonna
Why did
like
you just book 30 minutes, Eugene? What the heck? I was like, this must be an error.
You knew it was us, Eugene.
I mean,
yeah, like listen, we're gonna go house to house. So we're gonna figure out who is hosting next, and we're gonna do it again, and then again, and then we're gonna repeat the circle because
Love
like
it.
we like it so much.